1 year after winning the NBA Finals, the San Antonio Spurs fell one round shy of getting back there again, losing to the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. But it was the farthest the Spurs ever got in a title defense, so give them a little bit of credit. Now, the Spurs are still one of the NBA's premier teams, and they will look to make whatever changes necessary to improve their club for next season when they'll try to win another championship. Now, they will be drafting 26th in the first round. 45th in the second round. That pick came over from Toronto, and also 57th in the second round. And don't sleep on any of those picks. They don't look that good, but leave it up to Pop and R.C. Buford and the great front office in San Antonio to pull a rabbit out of a hat. And we have addressed several. For most teams, there's only a couple of needs, but for the Spurs, who went to the Western Conference Finals, we have 3 needs.
Well, because you have Robert Horry, who's a free agent. You have Michael Finley's a free agent. You have Brent Barry, who's on the contract, but he's getting older. You have Jock Vaughn's a free agent. So they have a lot of their bench players that aren't coming back. So they've got to add some depth and some youth to this team.
And for me, it's still Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan, not necessarily in that order. But after that, I think they're open to anything at this point because, when the Spurs win, everything looks good. When they lose, they do look old and slow. And against the Lakers, they certainly look like that. So I think there's a lot of improvement here. But Rick is right. This is a team that took Parker late in the first round, Ginobili in the second round. So they have a very good history in the draft. And they're going to need it this year because this team could still get back and win a title, but they're going to need help. And I think they need more shooting on the court because there were times, if you go back to that game against the Lakers, game 1, where they're up 20, their offense just went in the tank. They can't score, so they could use some shooting on the floor. No,
they definitely can. And I think you look at it in the fact that, they will add some veteran free agents. There'll be guys that'll go there for the minimum. So these players are going to pick, like Ginobili didn't play a lot at the beginning when he first got there. So they're going to draft guys that they can say, hey, we can plug them in the future.
And a couple of late first-round picks in recent years may help them this year, and one of them is Jan Mahinmi, who was fantastic for the Austin Toros down in the D-League. He's an athletic, energy big. He is long. I think he could help them out. But Tiago Splitter, who they took in the first round last year, has said that he's going to be re-signing with Tau Ceramica, so they may not be able to get some help in that regard. But I do agree with you guys. This team needs athleticism and activity outside of the big 3 because they just look slow at times, this team. And I know Pop is bristling at me saying this right now, but I'm sorry, that's my perception.
And how many times when you watch these games did you see Finley miss an open shot? How many times in the playoffs did Bruce Bowen miss that corner 3-pointer that we've seen him make so many times? That's why I'm wondering about a guy like Chris Douglas-Roberts from Memphis, can play both shooting guard and small forward, maybe gives him a little bit more athleticism. To me, the Spurs can still get back there because Duncan is a champion. We all know that. He still wants to win, and Ginobili's the same way. Parker still has a lot of basketball left in him. But that supporting cast, clearly, Rick, needs to get better.
And when I said, slow and all that, I wasn't talking about the big 3. I was talking about, the Ories, the Barrys, the Bowens, and I'm sure those guys realize they're slow. So at 26-45 in there, where do you see this? We've addressed a ton of needs. If you're RC and Pop, where do you go with that first-round pick?
I think they take the best player. I don't think they'll lock themselves in a position. I think they'll bring guys in to work them out, and they'll take the best player that's available because, as we put, 3 needs they need, so anybody can fit in.
Yeah, that's the way they have to go. But shooting guard, that's where I would go if I were them.
Understood. So the San Antonio Spurs, they don't repeat. That's not how they roll. But when they lose, they tend to always come back with a little bit more vigor and a little bit more verve.
But, when they haven't repeat, is either Duncan was hurt. They've had injuries and reason why they didn't repeat. And this year, I think Ginobili was hurt in the conference finals.
That's a phenomenal point. And like I said, whenever these guys lose, they just come with that much more motivation the next year. Don't forget, before this year, they won 3 of the last 5 championships and 4 of 9. Not too bad at all. And don't forget, basketball fans, for more coverage on the NBA draft and much, much more, please be sure to tune into NBA TV. It's your all-access channel for everything basketball.